During the next few minutes, you'll be shown the proper procedures for startup and shutdown of the Willamette Valley's synthetic patch equipment. You'll also be trained to do simple maintenance, and you'll become familiar with proper filling technique. As our friends Knothead and Sappy discovered, there's more to the proper operation of synthetic patch than just pulling the trigger. When starting up the Willamette synthetic patch system, first check the level of all the products. Do not allow any of the products to run dry, as air will enter the system and soft patches can result. You also stand a chance of plugging the lines. Make sure the lubricators and packing cups on all the pumps are full of oil. Adjust the lubricator oil adjustment screw about 1/2 turn. To supply the chemical to the pumps, open the ball valves on all the product tanks, and also open the valves on the bottom of the pumps. Connect air to the main air intake and drain out any water that may be in the filter. Some filters have self-drains and do not need to be drained manually. Now, open the supply valves on all the pumps. Next, open the A and B ball valves at the back of the meter. Make sure the main air supply reads at least 80 to 100 psi on the instrument panel. Depending on the system, adjust the flush and B regulators between 40 and 80 psi. To adjust the regulators, pull out the adjustment knob and turn clockwise or counterclockwise to obtain the proper pump pressure. Push the knob back in to lock it. The pressure on the A pump determines the volume of chemical delivered at the gun. Adjust it between 40 and 80 psi to obtain the proper volume. Turn on the heat controller and adjust to proper temperature, generally between 80 and 120 degrees. To adjust, push and hold the set point knob. At the same time, push the large knob and turn clockwise or counterclockwise to reach the proper temperature setting. Now, turn the valves on the front of the meter valve, the flush valve, and the A and B valves. Attach a mixing tube to the gun. Shoot a few patches and check for the proper cure. To flush, open the ball valve on the top of the gun. Remember, do not pull the trigger while flushing. To shut the system down, first turn off the A and B valve at the front of the meter. Remove the mixing tube and pull the trigger on the gun to relieve all the pressures. Be sure the gauges at the front of the meter drain down to 0. Now flush the gun. Turn off the A and B valves at the back of the meter. In this order, shut off the flush valve, shut off the meter valve, and shut off the heat controller. Clean the gun thoroughly. For extended shutdown, disconnect the main air supply and turn off the ball valves on the pumps. Now for some easy maintenance procedures. Here is the main body of the gun. Then there's the B O-ring, the liquid piston shaft, the A O-ring, and the air piston shaft. After you unscrew the main body, check to make sure there's no chemicals or particles in the metal seat or blocking the passageway to the nozzle. You can use a small brush to clean it. 90% of the time, your problems will be with the B O-ring. Using the wrenches included in your repair kit, place the 1/4-inch wrench on the fluid piston shaft and the 5/16 wrench on the air piston shaft and turn counterclockwise, like this. Remove the fluid piston shaft and take off the A O-ring. Put the larger A O-ring onto the air piston shaft. Put the fluid piston shaft through it and tighten it down. Use your wrenches to complete tightening. The B O-ring is the smallest of the O-rings. Take the cone from your repair kit and slide it into the O-ring. Then, take the pusher, set the cone on a hard surface, and push down until it comes to the end of the cone. Now, insert the cone over the fluid piston shaft and push it on. Add some grease to the O-rings and insert the unit back into the gun, screwing it back together. When using synthetic patch, you need to always be aware of overfill. Overfill and wasted patch are areas that need your constant attention. There are several factors that will affect how the chemical flows and sets up, such as the temperature of the patch, the temperature of the mill, and the temperature of the panels. The amount of air pressure behind the material can also affect how the chemical flows. Just remember as you fill, any material outside the defect is wasted and adds cost. The following techniques will help you in filling knots and splits. To fill knots, let the patch flow into the defect. Release the trigger before the patch reaches the edge of the defect. This way, you'll make the chemical work for you, and it will allow you to spend less time on each patch and keep pace more easily. To fill splits, the key is the movement of the tube in the defect. It doesn't matter if the panels are moving or are stopped. If you move the tube, you'll reduce the size of the patch ribbon you're applying. These techniques may sound simple, but they're very effective in reducing overfill. Remember, use trigger release for knots and tube movement for splits. That's all there is to it. If you have any other questions or problems with any of Willamette's products, please give us a call. We're here providing you with the best products and service anywhere.